Hi, my name is Laurie Niles with Violinist.com, and I'm here with Violinist Christian Tetzlaff, and he's performing this season with the Los Angeles Chamber Orchestra, LACO. How are you today?
I'm fine. Hello, nice to be here. Jet lag hasn't yet hit because I came last night late, so
You
it's
came
okay.
last night, and tell me where you live and where you were coming from.
I live in Berlin, so I had a quite extensive journey of 24 hours. Yeah, and I'm for this week happily here.
You know what I wanted to know about is where it all started for you. Where were you born? How did you get into playing the violin?
I was born in Hamburg, and I started playing when I was 6, both with violin and piano, and gymnastics, and school, all in 1 year.
Wow, that's a lot. Okay, so you started when you were 6. Was there anyone else in your family doing music?
Both my older siblings are musicians, and they started, of course, before me with trumpet, viola, piano.
And I understand, though, that you also, these days, you also play with your sister. She's younger than you, is that right? Tell me a little bit about that part.
Yeah, 7 years younger. That's now 33 years ago. We started playing quartet together regularly.
Yeah.
And always since then we played a Brahms double concerto and in many other chamber music formations. It turned out very nicely for me that we love to play together and get along. So it's a good combination.
I wanted to go back and ask you about your good friend, your dear friend and pianist Lars Vogt. Tell me a little bit about your partnership with him.
Yeah, it's been 25 years of continuous music making, but especially also of almost daily contact writing. Whenever we find something really funny or really sad, we would write it or post it. So we consciously keep that open by playing his pieces, or we had a tour with his student Kivelli Dörken here, where we also played the Tchaikovsky trio to the memory of a great artist. We played that also at the Heimbach Festival, which he instigated and where he was the director, and which I'm now taking over from next year on. So it is really nice to see that the love and feelings he created around him in so many people, that we keep it alive, and to see how much love there was everywhere.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, he passed away in, it was 2000?
September last year, yeah.
Of cancer.
At age 51, yeah.
51.
Yeah.
And playing was part of what got him through it, right?
Yes, and he played fantastic. I think it was his best year, the last year. So we recorded 2 Schubert trios, 2 Brahms quartets. He recorded Mozart concerti, Mendelssohn concerto. He just all year he enjoyed mind over matter, so to say, and played his most beautiful performances. It was very important to him, even though he was such a real musician who would live for the composers, and at the same time I felt he had this urge to say why he is a musician and what he's here for. Till a few weeks before he died. We played the Brahms G Major Sonata 10 days before he died in his room, and we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So it's really, there is one layer that doesn't have so much to do with time, how long you live or what's happening, but which is the here and there. What music is the incredible thing that you can step out and have contact with your inner self, with your soul, and those of other people, regardless what your state is or the state of the world.
So I noticed that you recently recorded the Brahms Violin Concerto. You also recently recorded the Brahms Double Concerto. Tell me a little bit about your feelings for Brahms.
Well, he's one of the fixtures in my life, I have to say. As it's a composer you already quite early can develop a passion for, but then he's also somebody who stays with you. I've done, of course, all the chamber musics in the last years a lot. Before Lars died, we played the Brahms piano trios, which are, the B major is quite known, and the phenomenal 2 others are lesser known, and so we played them a lot, especially the C major. Recorded them, and also the last recording we did with Lars was the A major piano quartet and the C minor. The C minor we only have as a run-through, a live run-through, which still will be on the CD. In this quite horrible last year with Lars, where we played a lot, but also we knew that he probably wouldn't make it and he was in lots of pain. We all concluded that Brahms is the man if you want to deal with very bad circumstances or if with pain and loss. He's the one who allows it and shows it, also with the anger or desolation that goes with it. But at the same time, he is the one who still tries to give solace, as he writes in his Requiem, I want to give you solace like a mother gives her child. And one can feel that quite often. So that's why he is, at the moment, one of my favorites. Then to have the violin concerto, which is a fantastic mixture of almost everything. For a violinist, a joy to play, beautifully written, and also with the last movement that really allows the term of violin concerto and virtuoso. But more importantly, he uses this for real deep information. Sounds funny. The Second Symphony in D major with a glorious first movement with some darknesses, yes, but in this violin concerto he really opens even a bigger keg. It goes into real violins in triple pianissimo, completely lost. Surprising in a violin concerto to go for everything. So there is something Faustian in it, searching, finding love, losing it, and this is what I love about my job, to try to draw people in this kind of stories.
I wanted to talk about the Joachim cadenzas, and you play those, and tell me why you feel it's important to play the original cadenzas.
Yeah, even though you could argue the word original is for a cadenza not as important as for the rest of the piece,
right.
Because it is a place for the soloist. Once in a while we have those most beautiful cadenzas. Some of the Mozart concerti have them. The concertante has Mozart's. And Joseph Joachim's cadenza is like a Brahms cadenza. He played it in the first performance. It is a masterpiece in itself, just giving a compressed view of the whole piece. And within the limit of what Brahms also wrote for the violin, so it doesn't feel like all of a sudden, okay, now this man has to step in front and show I have even more tricks up my sleeve than you thought possible. And it captures also the desperate sides of that movement. It's a complete miniature picture, so it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see the collaboration in the handwriting where they both mark while rehearsing in the handwritten score. And there is actually an essay of Joseph Joachim about, in his Violinschule, about how this piece should be played and what Brahms taught him about it. I'm always surprised wherever I teach, nobody knows about this.
Yeah.
It's too true and too close to the source to use it.
Oh, well, I don't know.
I mean, there is, for all major violin concerti, of course, there has been a tradition of performances and teachings which are, for me, most of the time, very, very strange complications of what's there in the score.
Brahms wrote this piece for Joachim, so I would think the book that he wrote saying how to play the piece would be very
and even
relevant.
something as trivial as how fast it should be played.
Well, right. What does he say that goes against what so many violinists do? Because I know we have these strange traditions about how we play it that maybe never had anything to do with that.
Without going in total detail, but usually the discretion from what the composers write is to make it more beautiful, more accessible, more controllable. So all the things I think people like Beethoven, Schubert and Brahms were not interested in become the tradition, so the new standard of playing every note clearly and not too fast so that one never gets into kind of emergency situations, and in dynamic, never too loud because then it could scratch, and never too soft, maybe one cannot hear in the last row. So it's all those, and bowings distributed evenly so that not one note is louder than the others, which might totally be the intention of a composer. If we go back a few centuries, Leopold Mozart, if there is slurs and one high note, you always kick it out for the fun of it, and we try to try to avoid this. A lot of the simple joy is taken out for a certain untouchability. This word doesn't exist. So that you always feel, oh, this is the king in front, nothing can disturb him. Whereas I would assume Brahms wants to see me greatly disturbed by many of the abysses and pianissimo disappearing, then the wide cascades of trills. I think he wants a real human protagonist, a hero that also can get into dangerous situations.